let me know when to. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. We're good? We're right? I think we're about ready. Is everybody ready? You can just stand here. You just stand here and I'll step to the side and call them up.
Stand here, and when he steps to the side, I'll step over.
Okay.
Are we ready? Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Will McHugh with Henrico County Public Safety Media Relations Team. Today, I'm joined by the family of Caron Wilkins, his mother, aunt, and uncle. And with Henrico Police, we have Detective Inzer. This weekend marks 4 years since Caron was killed. It was a warm afternoon, April 20th, 2021. Caron was with several other people out in a common area in his apartment complex in the 200 block of Knightsmanor Court, when an altercation happened that ended in gunfire. Henrico Police and Henrico Fire responded to the scene and found Caron on the ground unresponsive. They immediately began rendering aid and took him to an area hospital where he later succumbed to his injuries. As we said, we know there are several people in the area during this incident. Today, our detectives and Caron's family are asking anyone with information to please come forward. You can provide information by calling Crime Stoppers at 780-1000, Henrico Police at 804-501-5000, or sending tips electronically through p3tips.com. I will now ask the family of Caron to come forward to share some memories and to tell everyone who Caron was and what it would mean for them to have someone to come forward who may be able to help solve this case. Please come forward.
Good morning. My name is Tamara, and I am the aunt of Caron. His mother is my sister. And Caron was a wonderful person. He held our family together. Him and my sons and my other nephews were very, very close. They were more like brothers than first cousins. And it's been a great loss that, he's just gone and we don't have him anymore. He kept us laughing all the time, kept us on our toes. And for him to just be gone, we're just asking for help from the community to please someone step forward. There was a lot of people out there. It was a beautiful day. And we just want somebody to put yourselves in our shoes and see how, you would feel if it was your brother or your cousin or your child. And so we're just asking for the community to try, please, to just do the right thing and help us bring some justice to him being murdered out there that day.
Yeah, he was my nephew, and all of my nephews and nieces are my best friends. So I lost a best friend, and the hurting part is it was right around the corner from me. And I know for a fact, because he visited me often, and I miss that. I know that he would say, Uncle Joe, I'm going around the back. So I know there were people there who knew him. I know there were people there that liked him. Maybe some didn't, but I know someone should be able to come forward. Let this have some closure to it. He deserves that, because for me, like I said, a best friend is missing. All these years later, it's even more profound because I've retired and I have the time now, but he isn't there. Please, someone come forward. It's okay. Sit beside your mom.
I'm sorry, I'm Karan's mother. I just don't know what to say. I just want somebody to come forward and speak up for him. I miss him so bad. I don't sleepless nights. I'm having nightmares all the time. It's just hard to lose your child to somebody killing him like that. So if there's anyone out there, will please step up for me. I'd appreciate it.
I will now ask Detective Enzer to come up to discuss some of the facts of the case or for questions.
We have a lot of cases that we can solve through other means than eyewitness testimony. Unfortunately, this is not one of those cases. We know that there were members of the community outside and witnessed the altercation that led up to the shooting and the shooting itself. We're in a holding pattern until one of those community members comes forward and tells us what they saw. And that's what it's going to take to bring this family closure and justice.
Any questions for the detective?
What more can you tell us about what happened that day?
Caron was in a community that he's known to visit. They grew up there. The family's known there. He was there. It was a warm, very warm afternoon. There were kids outside playing basketball. There were families having cookouts, spring cookouts. You know, just like this weekend, it's going to be a pretty weekend. It was just like that 4 years ago. He was there. There was an altercation with a community member, and during that altercation, it led to gunfire, and he was murdered. We have a lot of information, but because of the situation, the knowns, and it happened where everybody some of the normal things we'd use to solve a case and bring that case to court really isn't applicable in this very specific case. In this very specific case, we need human intelligence. We need somebody from the community to stand forward and tell me what they saw. And from there, everything else will fall into place. It just takes one.
What can you say to somebody who's scared to come forward?
Well, it can start anonymously and give me the information. Let me know that I'm right in what we think we know, and help me prove that we know is factual. And we go from there. And then we don't put the cart before the horse. It starts with the information, leads to an arrest, and then it'll play out there. It's been 4 years since this murder occurred. We don't believe the people involved still live in that community. We believe that there's no longer an imminent threat if you live in that community of retribution or retaliation. This isn't a case where there's gang violence or gun violence or tit for tat going back and forth. This is a very specific incident that it was an unfortunate neighbor dispute that led to a murder. I don't think witnesses should fear retaliation or retribution. It's not a snitch thing, it's a justice thing.
Sorry if I missed something, but do you have a suspect?
We do have persons of interest in the case, but it's not what we know, it's what we can prove. And we need the human intelligence to take us from what we know to what we can prove.
Do you know how many persons of interest at this time are you?
I do.
Okay. How many persons?
I can't tell you.
Any idea of the number of potential witnesses out there?
There were a lot. The problem is that some of the witnesses are small children, teenage children, kids playing basketball at the neighborhood hoop. There were family, parents, grandparents. It ranges of all ages. And it may be an ear witness, it may be an eye witness, it may be a combination of everything, right? We have most of the puzzle built. We're missing one piece, and that's that eyewitness to come forward. And we'll take care of the rest.
I have another question, maybe just for the family too. What would be your message to people at home to help you get the closure that you need?
I would say that if
Wanna come
someone
to the podium?
I'm sorry, if someone would just come forward, because it's, you know, if you just put yourself in our shoes, and that's a neighborhood that we grew up in, you know, I've been over there since I've been a little girl, and many of my family still live there. So, you know, we were like, it was more than just a community together, it was a family. So if people could just come together and as a family like we were, and do the right thing so that we will have some justice. You know, what happened to him, but we still would like to have justice so that, you know, we can, and his mom can rest peacefully at night without having these nightmares that all of this is going on and still ongoing after 4 years.
Would you mind saying a few words about who Caron was as a person?
Who Caron was?
As a person.
As a person, Caron was a very bubbly guy. He loved to have fun. He loved his family more than anything. And he had one child. His daughter was 6 at the time. And, you know, and she says, you know, why did someone take my dad away? Didn't they know I love my dad? So, and, you know, he was with her all the time. He was a great father. He was a great person. He was a very caring person, a very helpful person. And he even made me think that I can sing, and I know I can't sing. So he was just that kind of person. He would just make you feel good about yourself all the time.
Well loved by a great many. I think there are people who still hurt a lot because he was a very giving person. He would give you whatever he had. He would, if you asked him for a favor, he would give it. I relied on him a lot because at the time I was working, so a lot of my housework, you know, he would take care of for me, you know, and I miss that, you know, and now that I'm even older, I feel that sense of loss. That's what I want everyone to know. It's a great deal of loss to not just the family, but he had a lot of friends. You go on Facebook and you find them, and you'll see people who still post to this day, you know, how much they feel that loss because he brought a lot of, I guess, joy, you know. He could be frustrating sometimes too, you know. Too many visits, put it that way. But it's the thing that I miss the most now because he's no longer there. I pray, you wish for that knock at the door that ain't never coming. So for those out there who haven't experienced it, I've experienced it before with an older brother. Come forward to give people closure simply because you wouldn't ever in your life want to have that feeling of not getting that knock at the door. I've heard people say that. You just expect them to come through the door, and it's not happening. You can't give us closure. Give us some justice. If you can, please.
Any other questions for anybody? Okay. Well, this concludes our press conference. Again, anyone that might know anything or has any tips to share, please contact Henrico Police at 804-501-5000, Crime Stoppers at 804-780-1000. You can also submit tips anonymously online at p3tips.com. Thank you for joining us.